Good day. My name is Tatenda, and together with Tinoda Ishe, Tafara, and Beatrice, we'll be presenting on Ubuntu as the ideal philosophy of Africa. The word Ubuntu is derived from a Nguni aphorism, which can be translated as a person is a person because of or through others. Ubuntu can be described as the capacity in an African culture to express compassion, reciprocity, dignity, humanity, and mutuality in the interests of building and maintaining communities with justice and mutual caring. Ubuntu is an ethic or humanistic philosophy focusing on people's allegiance and relations with each other. Furthermore, Ubuntu philosophy is rooted in the essence of being human. The philosophy of Ubuntu mainly speaks about the fact that a human being cannot exist in isolation. The former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela, describes Ubuntu as a philosophy constituting a universal truth, a way of life which underpins an open society. The Ubuntu philosophy also implies that if people are treated well, they are likely to perform better. Ubuntu philosophy is the divine spark of goodness inherent within each other. Law suggests that the concept of Ubuntu defines the individual in their several relationships with others and stresses the importance of Ubuntu as a religious concept. Ubuntu can be translated to humanity towards others. The Ubuntu philosophy, which is founded on the African framework, has applicability on a global scale because of its values that are based on human relationships. Such values as solidarity, compassion, generosity, mutuality, and commitment to community can find resonance well beyond Africa's borders. Basing on Samkange's maxim that Ubuntu touches on social, religious, and political life of an individual as well as economic life. He suggests that to be human is to affirm one's humanity by recognizing the humanity of others. Also, if one is faced with decisive choice between wealth and the preservation of life of another human being, one should opt for the preservation of life. The king owes his status, including all powers associated with it, to the will of people under him. It is based on this notion that Ubuntu philosophy has spread its wings worldwide. Former President of the United States, Bill Clinton, embraced the Ubuntu philosophy on 20th September 2006 when he told the Labour Conference in the United Kingdom to embrace Ubuntu. To further exacerbate, the African Ubuntu philosophy has also been acknowledged and accepted by the US Department of State when she was sworn into office on 18 June 2009. Ambassador Elizabeth Flowley Bagley, the Secretary of State Special Representative for Global Partnerships, expounded on the concept of Ubuntu philosophy.
My name is Beatrice Mojaba, and I'm going to talk about the attributes of African Ubuntu philosophy. And on that part, we have universal. And when we're talking of universal, we simply means the global and the intercultural and the brotherhood. And we also have the behavior. And in behavior, we have what we call the human caring, sharing, respect, and compassion. And we also have united. And being united simply means to be solidarity. The bond that we have as a community, as a family, like family relations, the bond that we have as a group, as family members, as teachers, as a community, as a nation, and like the world as a whole. And we also have the negotiation, and this simply means like democracy, like what people say. And also we have the tolerance, and this actually means like being patient and being diplomacy. And on understanding, we're going to talk about like the empathy and forgiveness and kindness. um, Ubuntu is the essence of humanness, and it embraces the following: humanness, and this is one who shows great compassion and caring for others. And on gentleness, this is someone who is mild and who is calm. And we have hospitality. And on hospitality, this is someone who is generous and friendly, and there is friendly treatment of visitors and guests. This is actually a warm welcoming. We have kindness, and on kindness, this is actually choosing to do something that helps others or that helps yourself, and this is motivated by genuine warm feelings. um, we have generosity, and on generosity, this is whereby someone is not selfish and someone who is happy to give his or her own time, money, and food. So this simply means charity. uh, and also we have solidarity, and on solidarity, this is the union and fellowship arising from common interests between people. And on solidarity, it actually means like coming together as a team in one accord. We also have compassion. And on compassion, this actually means to suffer together as a team or to feel something that is felt by another partner. We also have empathy. And on empathy, this is actually the ability to share another person's feelings and emotions as if they were your own, and to give advice upon feeling the same feelings that is felt by another.
I'm Tinodaishe. Moving on the significance of Ubuntu. The Ubuntu philosophy believes in group solidarity, which is central to the survival of Africa, of African communities. An African is not a rugged individual, but a person living with a community. For example, in a hostile environment, it is only through such community solidarity that hunger, poverty, isolation, and any emerging challenges can be survived because of the community's brotherly and sisterly concern, care, sharing, and cooperation. Practicing Ubuntu philosophy unlocks the capacity of an African culture in which individuals express compassion, dignity, humanity, and mutuality in the interest of building and maintaining communities with justice and communalities. Ubuntu is the basis of African communal cultural life. It expresses the interconnectedness, common humanity, and the responsibility of individuals to each other. As a philosophy, Ubuntu is an orientation to life that stands in contrast to rampant individualism, insensitive competitiveness, and unilateral decision making. The Ubuntu teaches a pervasive at all ages in families, organizations, and communities living in Africa. The Ubuntu optimizes the African philosophy of respect and human dignity that is fundamental to being able to transcend ethnic divisions by working together and respecting each other. The Ubuntu philosophy implies that one can only increase one's good fortune by sharing with other members of the society, thereby also enhancing their statuses within the local communities. broadly enumerates cases that show the human value behavior of the Ubuntu philosophy, including visiting sick people who are not necessarily one's own relatives, providing food for the needy people in the community, assisting the elderly in many different ways, and greeting others in a loving, friendly, and compassionate way. Under Ubuntu, synergies are realized where the grouping are socially and culturally bound. The spirit of Ubuntu leads to cooperative and collaborative work environment because the community is encouraged to participate, share, and support all the team members. People can work together in community groups in order for them to be more productive. For example, construct roads, farm, and fish together. Ubuntu philosophy propounds that employees' cultural values, which include extended family system, medical and funeral arrangements, must be respected. It also recognizes the significance of treating employees as human beings and not necessarily as programmed human resources capital.
However, consideration should also be given to the challenges that exist within an African society that would make successful implementations of Ubuntu philosophy difficult to achieve. Challenges associated with Ubuntu. One major challenge of African indigenous knowledge is that it is not written down. That is mostly transmitted from one generation to the next through storytelling. Successive generations learn about Ubuntu through direct interaction with local communities, unlike the Western and Eastern ideologies, which are well documented. African philosophy does not have an ancient written tradition, which makes it very difficult for the younger generations to practice the African Ubuntu philosophy fully. There is insufficient information dissemination and sensitization about Ubuntu philosophy. Although Ubuntu philosophy is associated with positive attributes, it is not well disseminated to people within African societies. Consequently, some people do not know anything or know very little about its foundational concepts. This is even more pronounced in towns and suburbs, in urban centers where different people with different socio-cultural backgrounds. The Ubuntu philosophy is negatively associated with some absolute African traditional rituals, customs, and practices. Some African traditions have outlived their usefulness in the modern environment, but may persist nevertheless. Practices such as witchcraft are still prevalent amongst African societies, and organizations need to take cognizance of this. Other challenges in the African context include envy, where traditional practices tend to discourage individual initiatives. As Africans rate social achievement above personal achievement. And also, the African Ubuntu philosophy is challenged by the proliferation of foreign ideologies. The Ubuntu philosophy articulates such important values as respect, human dignity, compassion, solidarity, and consensus. which demands conformity and loyalty to the group. However, modern African society is constituted of people from different cultures and backgrounds. Thus, understanding and practicing some of the principles of Ubuntu have become problematic due to multicultural challenges. In conclusion, the philosophy of Ubuntu was defined and characterized with such a view to show that Africa is traditional philosophy and ethic, which are distinctively communal and spiritual. The key distinctive qualities or features of this traditional philosophy were spelled out as humaneness, gentleness, hospitality, and generosity.